No, you did great.
I got that on live. Awesome. Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, which means we are on Facebook and YouTube. I got Ben Papapietro here with me, of course, and our special guest is Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis has a rodeo. Geez, maybe a radio. Oh, that's awesome. A radio program here in Santa Rosa called On the Wine Road, and you guys have known each other for years, so this is going to be easy. I'm just going to probably sit back and drink because we already heard I talk too much. But we've got two wines with us today. 2017 Nunez Vineyard, 2017 Laris Family Vineyard. Super excited. Ron is on. Good job, Ron. I was looking for you. And take it away, guys. I'll get started with first. How'd you guys meet? How do you guys know each other?
Well, I've listened to Jeff, and then one time Jeff asked me to if I would like to do a interview with him on his program, and Jeff came up to the winery, and we did a interview. He did an interview with me, and I've been doing interviews for over 20 years. It was one of the very best interviews I had ever done, and so consequently, we actually posted the whole interview on our website. If you go down, you'll see a picture of me in my Hawaiian shirt with the barrels behind me, and I'd ask you to click onto it, and you'd hear a little bit about us and how we got started. So
we just posted it on the thread here too. And Ben, you're always in a Hawaiian shirt, so that didn't break it down any.
Cool.
Yeah, but Jeff, you've been to the winery. You've hung out here as what's that? Yes, you've been, and you also did blending.
So I was going to mention the shirt too.
Oh, you can mention the shirt. Yeah, you and I are in black. Maybe we should put Ben in the middle. But you've also done blending with us, correct?
Yeah, he came for a blend.
Last year, and which longer ago than that, February of last year, and it was the Laras that we did, the 18 Laras, I believe. And that was a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I have done it with, like in retail situations, like at Ravenswood, they offered that, be a winemaker opportunity, and Buena Vista and Sonoma does that as well, and I think Raymond and Napa. But this was the real deal, working there at a winery. And interestingly about it, instead of using different varietals or varieties like a lot of winemakers do with Cabernet, Merlot, those different varieties. This was with clones. So it's very similar, but because the clones have different taste elements and characteristics, and it's fun to narrow it down and get the best blend that you can.
Well, and as a reminder, when we make Pinot Noir, we are Pinot Noir, but it is a blend of clones. And when our grapes come in, everything comes in separate by vineyard and clone. It stays that way. It is picked that way, it is fermented that way, it is barreled that way, all individual. Come springtime, Ben and his team, and apparently sometimes Jeff, sit down and go through all those individual barrels of vineyard and clone and come up with the blend. So the Pomardi and 777 are multiple clones. Same clone, multiple vineyards. The Laris and the Nunez we have here are multiple clones, same vineyard. So this is my Laris. So you helped put together the 2018 Laris. Which is going out in club shipments right now.
18 was a fantastic year too. So.
What's that, Jeff?
I'd say I'm assuming it's 18 because I think you do the initial one just like 5-6 months after harvest.
Yeah, we usually in spring before we do our first rack, because once we rack the first time, we do our blend at that point and then put them together so that the rest of the aging they'll be varied. So they're kept separate all the way through till early spring. And then what we do, you've probably done other ones that were much more complicated than what we do. A couple of the benefits of how we operate, we use the same vineyards, the same blocks, so we know them very well. We know what to expect from the vineyard. So it's not like we're trying to recreate the wheel. What we're trying to do is to always just tweak it a bit to make it, we know where we were last year, we try to improve on that. So it's not a big tasting with lots of different tubes and different samples. And that. We know pretty much the target because we work with these so often. So ours is a little bit different, but it's still fun to taste the different components.
I think you have to have a good palate to do that. But Jeff's main job is not blending. He does radio. And how long have you been doing your radio show?
You know, it's interesting that I'm on this week because this is now my 7th anniversary. This Saturday show will be my 7th celebration anniversary show.
Oh, congratulations. Awesome. Well, Craig is on, and Craig is always great about chatting with us, asking us which wines we're drinking day of. So we reached out to Craig yesterday. Craig, we are starting with the 17 Nunez. At least that's what I've been starting with. I warmed up starting with the 17 Nunez. So it is like, Andy, it's amazing. And Nunez has a special place in Jeff's heart, too. He really likes Wendy and Fred. You get along great with them, right?
Yes, and I will say we've talked about them already earlier today, but what you don't know is that
good things.
Oh yeah, of course. With the Nuneses, it's all good.
Yeah.
When we moved here in 2011, the first week or two, we went down to that Santa Rosa Wednesday night, farmers market, and they served wine down there in the wine garden. And that's where we met Fred and Wendy, and got to talking with them. And they invited us out to the vineyard. And as you know, Fred took us out and started talking about winemaking and growing. And I swear we were there for 2 hours with
I was
about
going to say, you just left.
three quarters. We're just like, woo, right over our heads. And then we get into the chemistry and all that with the vines. But it was so interesting. And I mean, it just really sucked us into the wine industry, and we knew my wife would probably have a good chance of getting in to the wine world because she had a marketing and PR background, and it did. I had no idea I was going to be doing a radio show. That came along later. And
what were you doing? What were you doing?
My day job is writing and producing radio commercials. I've been doing that for quite a while. Now. Wow. I'm kind of a creative director and have been a contracted creative director for 12 years now.
Okay, wow. And radio show.
Popular one that we might know. Commercial.
Well, the current ones that have been running are Water Drop Digital, the Amateur Sonoma radio group. So it's KSRO, Froggy, The River, Hot, and one other.
But the good news too is you don't have to be local to listen to your radio show because you podcast.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
And
it's called
podcast. It's called On the Road Podcast. So you need to add that to the title. But.
Okay, On the Wine Road Podcast. Awesome. And Wendy is on now. Wendy, we were just talking about you guys and how when Jeff first met you, Fred just stopped talking an hour ago from the 11 years ago or 7 years ago, whatever it was. But we love the Nunez. We're doing a 4-year vertical in Nunez coming up, which is going to be super fun. And this is drinking gorgeous. This is a 2017. Oh, you're going to show your own? We're going to do this? We're going to improve our bottles. 17 Nunez. And Jeff, Adrian Tamblin also says, hi, miss you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ben, all right, we're all equal. But this is delicious. This is tasting amazing. Craig's agreeing. It's like candy. My problem is it disappears from my glass very quickly.
Jeez.
I know.
Go figure, huh?
This is the kind of Pinot Noir that is, it's so sweet and luscious that I just want to shrink myself and jump in the glass and swim around in it.
You want to swim around in it? I bet Wendy could make that happen.
Maybe.
And probably could in the tanks. Oh, 95 points, North Coast Wine Challenge. Yep. No, this is
this is double gold in that one.
Double gold in that one. Yeah, and look, it's empty again. This is ridiculous. Okay, so how many shows? You do a show once a week?
Yes, on Saturday, 1 o'clock here in Santa Rosa. But it's also broadcast in Napa Valley on KBON at 11 o'clock.
So you cover Napa and Sonoma wines. Do you cover other wines, other wineries, other regions?
I travel quite a bit, yeah. Since the show's called On the Wine Road, I'll get out, and I've been to almost all of the wine regions in California now.
Awesome. Do you do more than just California?
I have been to Snake River in Idaho.
Oh, okay.
And I've talked with a winemaker in Virginia, and we've been also to Oregon, not yet to Washington, unfortunately. I'd like to get up there soon. But.
Well, Joy from Washington's on here now. They got a little rain, I'll tell you that much. Well, because you are you're a certified American wine export. You got your WSET level 2. You're pretty much know what you're talking about.
And I'm currently studying for the Certified Specialist of Wine, CSW, which is really tough.
And what does that entail? Shoot. I'm not any of that stuff.
That's when you have to learn the wine regions around the world, in addition to the great number of varieties in each country and the wine faults and all the things that go into wine, like ethanol. You don't realize that you're drinking ethanol when you drink wine.
Yeah, I pretend to ignore that part.
Heavy duty. It's heavy duty, and it's going to take me quite a few months, but I'm looking forward to passing.
Just an excuse to drink more wine.
I think I may need to get mine.
You know what? I've been cutting back on my wine intake so I can remember better. I got an older sucking in things as easily as it used to.
I'm drinking more than ever. Travel is really good and helpful for all that stuff. Where do you get your inspiration for your stories?
Initially, it was inspired by who we were interested in the region. And I didn't get a chance to mention this earlier, but my wife and I came up here twice before we moved here in 2009 and 2010, and we became members of Papa Pietro Perri in 2009. And so I had met Ben before we moved here. I remember seeing him in the tasting room and talking with him, and we joined a couple others as well. And I'll tell you, it was a fun day in Tucson, Arizona, when we got the California wine delivered to the house. And the customer was always like, "All right, the good wine's here. The good wine's here."
When I was in the Army, when I went through after basic training, they sent me to Fort Huachuca, Arizona. And on our getaway weekends, we would take the bus up to Tucson, and then you'd have to go all the way down over to Nogales and make the turn all the way back. Go by the airplane cemetery.
Yeah,
it's an amazing area, though.
It is, and it was a joy to live in Arizona in the desert for my 30 years. But coming from the Midwest, I was craving greener pastures again, and just fell in love with this area when we came to visit.
And you can sleep at night because it's cool. You get the fog come in at night, and it's not, you're not at night, so you get a little bit of a relief from the desert.
Yeah, even when it gets up to 95, 102 degrees here during the day.
Wow.
We are back to normal here. Our skies are blue. Our weather is hot. It is, but we got air conditioning because I'm not in a power shut off. So I'm loving life. It's gorgeous here. It's beautiful. Come visit. Open a glass. Do whatever you want to do. We got a couple people from Utah on, which is amazing. Danielle and Crystal, we love you guys. I know they can drink wine in Utah. You just have a hard time getting it there.
I broke down one time on the way to Yellowstone. We broke down, blew up our engine in Ogden, Utah, and rolled into Dick Strong's Volkswagen, where we stayed a week. The guy said, "What are you going to do while you're in Tucson? While you're in
Utah?"
At 5 o'clock, they roll up the sidewalks. There's nothing to do at all there in Ogden. So we lived in our van while they took the motor out and rebuilt it for a week.
Great.
Did you have wine with you, or was this your hippie days?
Yeah, no. Well, it was before Yolanda and I were married, but I think that was 75 or something like that. We were drinking wine, yes, of course. But there was probably a little tequila too.
You probably had a little bit of that in Fort Huachuca, didn't you?
You bet.
Just don't mix the two without a doubt. What do you guys think of the 17 Nunes, by the way? I know, Jeff, I heard your opinion. Ben, what are you thinking? Ben, you get to taste the wines throughout. Okay, Jeff's coming right back. You get to taste the wines throughout, which is nice, right? Because you taste it when it comes in, when you blend it, when we release it to Wine Club and staff, then throughout, and then I'm making you drink a lot on these things. How's it changing and evolving for you?
Well, right now it's standard to what we wrote about it originally. Because it's our current release, as a matter of fact. So we usually at 5 to 7 years is where I really get the differences and the changes from our original tasting notes. But it's beautiful, opens up a fresh fruit nose of cherry and cranberry. I get that, lively acidity there, and concentrated flavors, mouth watering. That's the beauty of it. It just fills your mouth, and it just. But for me, the nose. When I put my nose in the glass, it makes me want to revisit it a few times before I sip it. So this pretty much lives up to its standard. You get at the end of it, you still get some, as it opens up, some more strawberry sweet tea and some darker blue fruits that I'm picking up now with the little graham cracker toasty notes at the end of it. So
yeah,
it's a pretty wine though.
The beauty of wine, all that you can get out of one glass.
Yeah.
That is what is fun. That's what's fun about wine. And I'm looking at comments coming, and this is fun. We've got Texas, Virginia, Utah, New Jersey, Washington, Ohio. We got people from everywhere. That's what these are fun. That's what makes these things in California, of course. Yeah, everyone's reaching out. Okay, so Nunez, yes, Wendy, nice layers in this one. She's absolutely correct. So, Jeff, I want to go back to your wine program for a moment. You're on the wine road. Any disastrous interviewees, stories, ones where you just, well, you're not on video, right? So you can go, I'm dying over here. Help me. Any of those?
Well, one of the joys of doing the show is that everybody I meet, I'd say 98% are very fun, interesting, cool, grounded, laid back people. And it's always been a pleasure. So often I meet somebody, and as I'm leaving, I think, I want to be a friend of theirs. I want to hang out with them more often. So it's been a real joy. The worst interviews are the ones where people give you 1 or 2 word answers.
Yeah.
That makes it very difficult for me.
Yes.
That rarely happens. But the worst interview I had was one when I went to talk with Bo Barrett of Chateau Montelena when I was working on the 40th anniversary of the Paris tasting show I was going to do. And so excited to talk to Bo from Chateau Montelena, the white wine that beat the French the Chardonnays over there in France.
Spurrier tasting that put California on the map. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had Stephen Spurrier on the show too.
Wow.
And Jack Tabor, who wrote the article in Time Magazine about the tasting, which had he not been there and written that article, it probably would have gotten brushed under the rug by the French.
Never heard of that.
So
Yeah.
I had Bo Barrett scheduled. I went over and interviewed him, and it was funny. The whole time we were kind of walking around before we recorded, he was saying, "Man, I'm so tired of talking about this damn Paris tasting thing. It's 40 years now. This is the last time I want to talk about it."
Great. I can't wait to chat with you about it then.
It was a seminal thing for California that put us on the map. I mean, California had been making wine since the 1890s. We were sending Zinfandel as claret all over the world until Prohibition and phylloxera. But that put us back in competition with the world that recognized California. So,
yeah, I mean, he understands
life.
He understands the positive benefits, but they've had so many subsequent tastings over the decades that he's just like, okay, yeah, great.
But that was Bottle Shock, right? The movie Bottle Shock is based around that whole thing. If you guys out there have not seen it, it's a phenomenal movie. It is. It's obviously a movie.
Pretty much fictional.
Very fictional.
Oh, the book is so much better.
Much more detail.
Yeah.
Much more detail and hearing.
So I get home from doing the interview, knowing how he feels about it. Great interview. I mean, he was very forthcoming, and we talked about some of the movie too. And I get home and I put the cable on, or I pull the micro disc out of my recorder, and it was trashed. I don't know what happened. I lost the only time I've lost an interview, and I was, of all the interviews, I mean, I've had a lot of great interviews, but it was just like, no.
Hex on you? Did he give you the hex or what?
Maybe. And of course, the last thing I wanted to do was call him up and say, hey, you want to do it again?
Yeah, right. No. Yeah, my theory would have been no. Well, Craig Williams just said, which is amazing. His first experience with Papa Pietro, September, when it was 113 degrees in the patio. Sounds about right, Craig. The glass was so hot, I thought the wine was going to boil. That's called mulled wine, Craig, but we don't serve mulled wine.
Wow.
Of the 12 bottles purchased, we opened one a couple weeks ago. Nice cellar temp, magnificent. So September, this recent September, the 11 will be sleeping in the cellar. Oh, Craig, the problem with our wine is it's delicious now and later. Oh, Baciagalupi Vin Chardonnay is connected to that tasting. Yes, he's correct. I want to go with that one second.
I had Helen Baciagalupi on that show because, they supplied grapes, some Chardonnay grapes, to Mike Gergich, who was the winemaker for Chateau Montelena.
Actually, they didn't give him credit at all for that in the movie, but he was actually the winemaker for that wine.
Yeah. And what I don't give credit to either is that there were more Sonoma grapes in that Napa Valley wine than there were Napa grapes in that Chardonnay.
Yeah, that's right. We were letting you say it, so we didn't sound biased. So picking up what I put down.
Helen Baciagalupi, who is a little pistol, and even at 94 now, I think she is, she sets the record straight, and she does not let anything go by.
Good for her.
So she makes it very.
Mike Gergich is a pistol too, right?
He's showing his age more, and I also had him on the show too.
I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah. So, but Mike, he'd been suffering from some back problems for a while, so he was a little more reserved, but interesting. Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of forerunners of everything. I'm going to go to the 17 Laris.
Okay, while you do that, though, I'd like to ask Jeff about his series that he did and has done at the Healdsburg Library, which I think is a fantastic venue for it, and the people support it terrific. Maybe say a few words about that program, which is really a great program.
Great idea.
I'm one of the Friends of Sonoma County Wine Library, which is basically a board member, and we resurrected the oral histories. And in this modern era with technology so easily to come by and a lot less expensive, we're doing video oral histories now, so on visual oral histories. So it's a chance for us to talk with some of those who have made major contributions to the industry here in Sonoma County. And Helen Baciagalupi was my first guest. I talked with the Rocciolis.
That's the one I caught, was the Roccioli, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, this is Friends of the Sonoma County Wine Library. And what is it?
Well, the wine library is all kinds of historic and information stored in the library, which is at the Healdsburg Public Library in Healdsburg. And it's a wing of the Healdsburg Library. And just all kinds of interesting information and books literally going back to like the 15th century on hand there. Lots of periodicals. It's a great place to study. Winemakers, young winemakers go there. Same with Napa Valley, and get some information. You can scroll through and look for all kinds of viticulture and enology information.
But you do events as well, where you invite a winemaker, right? And you have wine, and you have right.
Well, the one that Ben was talking about is I go out to the winemaker like I do with my radio show, and we videotape it. And then we were showing them as a fundraiser for us and allowing the winemaker to come and be there for themselves and pouring their wine for the guests who showed up to watch it. And it was very successful. It was. That's right. It kept growing as we were doing that. So I was very happy about that. I'm actually very proud to be part of that opportunity. And
I've been invited a couple times for the home winemakers, Bob, I forget his last name. they have a group of home winemakers that schedule an event there from time to time. And I've been invited because I spent the first 20 years of my winemaking being a home winemaker. So I have a little insight on that aspect of winemaking also.
Yeah.
One of the neatest things in this valley that I really do think, and Ron, you just said it too, you guys really, he said it speaks well of how all the winemakers work together and support each other. That is one thing that's fascinating to me is Ben's not going, oh, Joe Rocchioli's there, I'm not going because he does Pinot and I do Pinot. No, they actually go and they get along and they talk and they respect each other and everybody drinks everybody else's wine, everybody enjoys it, and it's fascinating to me, and I absolutely love the togetherness you guys share. The fact that is it Mondavi who originally said, just come to Napa Valley. We got the wineries, you come to the valley. Let's make Napa successful, not just Mondavi. So let's make the wineries successful. Come to the valley. Let's have a good time everywhere.
Well, for me, I wished for all of my winemaking career to make a little Rocchioli, but have not been able to secure any grapes from them. But when I worked at Williams-Sonoma for years, I was able to work with that fruit, which was amazing when Bert was actually the winemaker and owner of Williams-Sonoma.
Yeah, what an opportunity for you.
Yeah. Well, I worked with Bert at the newspaper, so we had been friends to the middle 60s. And then when he started making wine at his home, I was able to drink because we partied together. And then when he started in the late 70s off of Fulton Road, we were able to work there for, I don't know how many harvests before we moved to his present, or kind of where his present location is, across from Rocchioli. But that was a great experience for me that led me to where I'm at today.
It is. Everyone works together. Okay, did you guys pour yourself some Laris?
I did.
Good job. What do you I think they're very different. I'm enjoying the differences. And then what do you guys think of the Laris? 2017 as well. Laris Family Vineyards is 5 to 6 miles as the crow flies on the other side of the 101?
Yeah, it runs parallel almost to the Russian River, right behind where Martinelli is. Woolsey is the next road that parallels Russian River, and it's pretty much right behind where Martinelli's winery is. And we've been working with Nick, I think, since 1999. To me, this wine has always been what I would consider a quintessential Russian River Valley Pinot Noir. It has all the components that you look for in Russian River. Sweet cherry notes. You get the earthiness and the mineralness of this wine. Sometimes we get some spice in here, but usually it's the earthy and mineraliness of the wine that appeals to me. That really is traditionally accepted flavors from the Russian River. And this is my quintessential Russian River Valley.
Yeah, I would say it's got,
yeah.
It has some nice fruit on it up front, like the newness does, but it is a little bit earthier. It does have, I'm getting a little bit of spice on it as well, and certainly more akin to a mushroom, meal.
That earthiness and that usually develops in this wine.
Yeah. Is there Ben, is there Pomard in this, or 667?
Yeah, there's a little bit of. So I get the 4 clones from Nick. I get 115, 667, 777, and Pomard. I use the Pomard is one of the components of our Pomard blend clone wine, and the 777 is one of the components of our 777 clone wine. As newness is part of our 777 program also. So those 2 vineyards are part of my clonal program.
You do a great job. All your wines are amazing. It's fun to side by side it. I usually joke.
Yeah, when we did
What's that? Oh, I joke. My favorite wine is the one in my glass, but I like side by side.
When we did the blending, remember you had 878 in it as well.
Yeah,
we were doing the 5 clones and ended up dropping the 878 at the end of it, and went with those 4.
I picked up a little 828 from Nick. Every once in a while, sometimes I don't get enough fruit of those blocks that I usually get. So I'll pick up a little something extra. He has some Behringer clone. He also has that 828. So we tried that. It didn't fit in because it's not really part of the program for that. So that 828 was nothing wrong with it, but we put that into the Russian River Valley. So that was part of that component goes into the Russian River.
Okay, so this is a fun question. Yolanda's asking, what is in the Pommard besides Pommard?
It's all Pommard. It's from the vineyards I use in that blend. Peters Pommard, Laris Pommard, Nunes Pommard, and Bucher Pommard. There's 4 vineyards that single clone from 4 different microclimates and different soils, but it's the one clone, the 777 clone. Oh, I mean the Pommard.
The Pommard clone. There's no 777 in the Pommard.
Yeah, excuse me.
This is why I'm here. It's okay. That's what I do. All right, so 2 quick questions. Anybody out there? It is next week. It is just Ben and I. Nobody wanted to join us. We gave, oh my God, it's Ben and me. Sorry, it's Ben and me. What should we open? First question. Second question, Jeff. Napa or Sonoma? Do you have a favorite? And then, because the answer is Sonoma. So the next question is, Papa Pietro Perry, do you have a favorite?
Well, of course, here I am talking with a winemaker.
I know.
When people ask about what's my favorite wine, I like eat what I heard somebody else say. George Hendry over in Napa, and he said, well, "What am I eating it with, or what am I drinking it? What am I having it with?" So that determines what wine might be, at least for that evening. So if I'm looking for a good, solid Bordeaux blend, I might lean Napa.
Fair.
Pinot Noir, which is top of this. I love a lot of different varieties, but Pinot is pretty much the one we have the most of in the house here. You got to go Sonoma County and most likely Russian River Valley.
You know what? That's actually a phenomenal answer. You are correct. It does depend a lot on what you're preparing. Are you a good chef? Are you a good cook?
My wife is.
Your wife is. I make really good reservations as well. What is her specialty?
She's really good at getting little bits of things and putting it together. And she always says, well, I don't know if it's going to work, but it always does. But one of the things she makes that goes really well with Pinot Noir is a pork loin with a reduced blackberry or sometimes blueberry compote, sauce.
Oh, yeah.
That Noir is just killer.
Well, and you have Pinot open today. Are you guys cooking dinner according to the Pinot?
We haven't discussed that yet.
No, I thought I was going to put you on the spot by asking wineries. Just don't let her watch this video. You'll be fine. Ben, what are you making tonight?
Well, I've been trying to diet. After yesterday, we had our harvest party. We usually go to House of Prime Rib, take the whole crew down to House of Prime Rib. Well, that unfortunately was unable to do. So yesterday we did with our harvest chef, Jim, did a fantastic. We did filet mignons. We did duck breasts. We started out with oysters, a half shell. And then with those 2 things, with the beef filet mignon, we had béarnaise sauce. He did a pasta with scallop and shrimp with a tomato cream base, and then green beans, a salad, and some Red Hawk bread, and it was fantastic.
Did you notice I found an excuse to be at the winery at noon?
Well, it was a good idea to be there. There was food.
I wasn't dumb. I have Jim on text message speed dial. Anyways, time is up, you guys. Amazing. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us. Next week, like I said, it's Ben and I. I'm hearing 777, Ben. Dang it all. That's what we have to open. But Yeah, well, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. Thanks, Craig. Anyways, thank you, Jeff, for joining us. Super fun. Tomorrow night, we've got our Point Reyes cheese and wine tasting. If you guys are part of that, you'll see me again. But cheers and cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody. Jeff, again, thank you so much. And I'm going to sign up for your podcast because I want to hear it. It's amazing. So
Pleasure.
thank you. Yes, absolutely. And